All right, so we got new models dropping now. OpenAI is introducing a limited preview of GPT 5.6 Sol, which they're calling their new generation frontier model, as well as GPT 5.6 Terra, a balanced model for efficient everyday work, and GPT 5.6 Luna, a fast and affordable model for high volume work. I think a lot of people are going to get confused by these models as if it wasn't hard enough to keep up with AI. Now we have all these different names. But Sam Altman says, good news first. Sol is smart, efficient, and significant. And a significant step forward. It is the same price as GPT 5.5. Also launching in the GPT 5.6 family is Terra with 5.5 level performance at half the price. The bad news is, at the request of the US government, it is launching today in limited preview instead of the open access launch we were planning on. We are working with the government to get to general availability as fast as we can. I think it is quite reasonable to roll out models, especially as they reach significant new levels of capability. In this way, it fits with our long-held strategy of iterative deployment, but this isn't quite the process that we think is optimal. Now we will, with the government, to attempt to get a transparent, reliable process for early access and to ensure that as long as our safeguards work as intended, we can release widely. We want to be a reliable, dependable partner that works with all stakeholders, and we also want to live by our mission of benefiting all of humanity. I believe the government shares most of our goals and that they are overall doing a good job in a very difficult situation. We will work as quickly as we can to get this model in your hands, and we hope you will love it. In my opinion, I don't think they should drop these until it's generally available. Like, it's just, to me, it's like a hype game, in my opinion. But as you can see, it's not generally available. It's only going to be available for certain entities, and the government's going to decide when they can release it to the general public. But moving on to capabilities, OpenAI says with GPT 5.6, we're introducing a new max reasoning effort to give Sol the most time to reason deeply. Additionally, we're introducing a new ultra mode that goes beyond the capabilities of a single agent by leveraging sub-agents to accelerate complex work. These are the two things I'm pretty much interested in my opinion. Everything else is pretty based around cybersecurity, which is a lot of the competition coming from Mythos. So I understand that. But the more practical side of this to me is the max and ultra reasoning. And I'm just very excited to test out exactly what that looks like and how strong that is actually going to be compared to just regular thinking mode. So when it comes to availability and pricing, they state during the preview, GPT 5.6 models will initially be available through the API and codecs to a select group of trusted partners and organizations. We plan to make them more broadly available to people using ChatGPT, codecs, and the API soon. In this new naming system introduced with GPT 5.6, the number identifies a model's generation, while Sol, Terra, and Luna identify durable capability tiers that can advance on their own cadence. Together, the family gives people and developers clearer choices across intelligence, speed, and cost. Once again, in my opinion, that's a bit much. GPT 5.6, then you have Pro, you have all these little different monikers to it. Now you're adding like Sol, Terra, Luna. I think for layman's, it's going to get very confusing. For people who are already in the space and who really care about this stuff and are always focusing on AI, it's not going to be an issue, right? We'll be able to remember that Sol is the strongest, Terra is the middle, and Luna is the weakest. But for most people, it's going to get pretty confusing. But I digress. They state GPT 5.6 is priced per 1 million tokens across 3 model sizes. So Sol is $5 input, $30 output. Terra is $2.50 input, $15 output, and Luna is $1 input and $6 output. They state GPT 5.6 also introduces more predictable prompt caching, including support for explicit cache breakpoints and a 30-minute minimum cache file. For GPT 5.6 and later models, cache writes are billed at 1.25x the model's uncached input rate. while cash reads continue to receive the 90% cached input discount. And they state, we're also launching GPT 5.6 Sol on Cerebras at up to 750 tokens per second in July, bringing frontier intelligence to customers at unprecedented speed. Access will initially be limited to select customers as we expand capacity. So that's the OpenAI GPT 5.6 news. Google is launching Google Finance, which a lot of people are excited about, which they're claiming is coming out of beta globally and rolling out new features, including new ways to track your investment portfolio and stay updated on market intel. A lot of people were showing some signs of concern here with Google already having pretty much everyone's information anyway. But a lot of people are excited about this because of the information and data that Google has and the capabilities that Google Finance will have, and the amount of people that will be brought to the Gemini ecosystem because of Google Finance. So there's a lot of back and forth here. I'm interested in Google Finance. I want to see how it all plays out. They state they're launching Google Finance on the Android app for easy access on the go, with an iOS app coming soon. So that's the key point for me here. It's going to bring a lot of people to the Gemini ecosystem, right? They download Google Finance. Gemini is embedded, of course. People are going to be utilizing that AI. It's just going to bring more usage to Gemini, especially if this is as powerful as they are claiming it is going to be. Track your investment portfolio, stay updated and on market intel. Like, if it's actually providing value to users and they're able to utilize AI within it, I think this is going to be good for Google, regardless of whether they're getting more information and more data, which probably is their main focus by doing all of this, of course, and cornering the market. But this is a good move for them, in my opinion. So Google Anti-Gravity stated that the latest Anti-Gravity 2.0 update includes a new built-in anti-gravity guide skill, auto file rendering, and improved substring file search. And you can check out the changelog for all the updates. I've been hearing a lot of people stating that anti-gravity is falling behind in terms of the competition, like Codex and Claude Code. So it's good to see new updates from anti-gravity because it's been looking kind of quiet. They've been making some minor changes here and there, which could be considered major, but it just doesn't seem to hold up against the competition. Now, Google AI Studio dropped this, introducing computer use in Gemini 3.5 Flash, which is so huge. I'm such an advocate for computer use, of course, in sandboxed mode. I mean, you can put it in full access as well, but computer use just changes the game when it comes to AI agents and having agents be able to take over your computer and do a lot of the manual work that would be too much time and too much effort for one individual and can be done seamlessly with AI. So great to see that computer use is in Gemini 3.5 Flash. Now, News Research dropped this. The strongest models are gated and access is granted only to a select few. This is directly pointing at the U.S. government blocking AI and only allowing it for select organizations and individuals. So, News Research says Hermes agent now exposes MOA presets as virtual models, giving you capabilities beyond the publicly available frontier, 8% higher than Opus 4.8 and 11% higher than GPT 5.5 on their upcoming benchmark. So, Technium has been really vocal about this. I won't bring up the post because it's very divisive, but I kind of agree. You know, like that's what was kind of my point in the beginning. Don't drop the models unless it's going to be available for everyone. But in Technium's case, it's like they want to be able to build around these models, but they can't build around the models because it's only available for certain people, and that leaves a lot of people out. And what that's basically doing is stifling innovation and only allowing a certain group of people to advance or get ahead with this technology, and then they'll pass it down to everyone else. This was one of the key issues that a lot of people were calling out in the early days of AI, stating that only rich people will be able to utilize the technology at first, and then it will get passed down to others. That's still kind of the case because everything is token based and you have to pay for tokens or you have to pay for usage. But now it's like, doesn't even really matter how much money you have. If you're a general individual, you still can't get access unless you're some type of government approved organization. And that's where this is coming from. So News Research also dropped this. Hermes agent can now learn from anything. And I think this is so huge. I think this is what's going to be the game changer for AI, having it actually learn instead of just respond, or basically just respond based off of the data set that it has been trained on. We need to have AI learn how we want it to respond to us. So Hermes agent can now learn from anything, feed it directories of any source material, code, API docs, manuals, PDFs, configs, and it distills a verifiable, reusable skill. Hermes agent is literally out of this world. I can't advocate or recommend for any other agent at this point now other than Hermes agent. OpenClaw, of course, is a close second, but at this point, it's not even any real comparison. So Microsoft is bringing skills to Copilot for Excel, which was going to be a given. I think a lot of these applications are going to have to integrate skills into them, especially as people are moving towards coding agents and utilizing agents for almost anything and everything. So they're stating this will give teams a new way to scale their enterprise across every workbook. I think this is huge. I think this is the way forward. Now, Claude introduced Claude Tag, a new way for teams to work with Claude. I know I haven't been dropping any videos for the past few days, and this came out like a few days ago. I still wanted to include it in this video. In Slack, Claude joins a team member with access to the channels and tools you choose. Tag Claude in and delegate tasks to it while you focus on other work. More progression in the agentic movement, basically allowing coding agents to take over, do work, and basically replace humans in the loop. And Claude Dev says, when Claude is working in a channel with 4 people, whose credentials does it use? The answer, its own. It uses its own credentials. When tagging Claude, Claude gets provision like any other teammate with its own credentials. They state, we call this access model agent identity. So the agentic movement is really progressing fast, as you can see from this right here. Now, Cursor says they're sharing new research on how models hack public benchmarks. So the image here says frontier models are getting better at undermining evals by looking up answers on the internet. When we restrict access, scores for newer models drop significantly. And they stated the latest models, including Opus 4.8 and Composer 2.5, learn to retrieve solutions from the internet or get history. They stated when we apply a stricter hardness, though, eval scores drop significantly. So pretty interesting research here. Now, Cursor says you can now delegate tasks to Cursor directly from Notion. It's built on the Cursor SDK, which is so powerful. If you guys haven't checked out the Cursor SDK, go and check it out. So every cloud agent runs on the same models, harness, and runtime that power Cursor. And they stay at Cursor on any spec or assign it a task, to open a PR your whole team can review. Now, Cursor states Cursor now shows you a leaderboard of the most popular plugins, skills, and MCPs across your team. Add any to your setup with one click from the new customize page. So Cursor has just been shipping here lately. And you can now try GLM 5.2 inside of Cursor. I know a lot of people love GLM 5.2. And it's just good to see Z AI moving forward and getting a lot more adoption. We love open source. And Figma launched Figma Motion, their new animation service, and people are raving about this because it allows you to not have to drag all of your work into other applications like After Effects or other things of the sort. So this is huge for Figma. This literally gives them that next leg up. A lot of people were counting Figma out, saying, like Claude design and all these other things were basically going to replace Figma or just basically put Figma out of the contention. But Figma is not going out like that. Figma is still shipping, as we can see, and they dropped Figma Motion, which I think is pretty huge. I think this is a good move for Figma. So there you have it. That's all I have for this video. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to the channel. If you have any suggestions for videos you want to see in the future, let me know down in the comment section below. I'm still going to try my best to drop videos more frequently. Sorry for the long hiatus these past 7 days, but we're back now and we're better and we're going to keep dropping content. So turn on those notifications so you never miss a video and we can stay updated with everything that's going on that I'm able to find with AI. See you in the next one.